welcome back. From here on out, we're going to start getting into some more advanced of the beginner topics. You may want to walk around and experience the game before really diving into these videos. The first video, I'm going to sign out of this XOC chat, at X disconnect OC, at X silence OC. So if you ever need to sign out of a channel, at X silence OC, and then you can always at X listen to join again. So this is a more advanced topic, like I said. You don't have to do this right away, but you can. And you're going to want to do what I'm about to show you within your first few days in the game. And it's called writing your character history. So if you type at history, you have no history of any kind at this time. You can draft a new history, get help with your history, or exit the history system. I recommend going through the get help with your history. It gives you some explanations. But we're going to go over those right now. First of all, there's help theme, help social class, and help timeline, and help writing history. These are great help topics for getting the flavor of the world and understanding what you can and can't do with your history. So there's also a timeline on the website. I recommend you review it. So the year, whatever year it is when you are watching this video, the game takes place 85 years in the future. So as of the recording of this video, the in-game year is 2101. But don't rely on that because it's 2016 when I'm recording this video. You might be watching it in 2017, which means that it's 2102. Every history needs to have some very specific things. Your character's full name, your parents' names, your character's date of birth, or if they do not know their date of birth, a rough date of birth, and you need to explain why they don't know it. Any sibling names, and then how you got your stats and skills that you picked during character generation. So we haven't touched on this, but there is a command called @stats, which will show you a bunch of information about yourself. I'm going to go over this in a later video, but just know that you can see your strength, your perception, your endurance, your charisma, intelligence, agility, and luck, and the skills that you picked during character generation. You have trading, and you have English. Everybody starts out with fluent English, so everyone can speak that language. There are different languages in the game. So when you're writing your history, full name, your parents' names, siblings' names, if you have any, how you got your stats and skills, where they were born. So full birthday, meaning like July 29th, 2070. Don't include how old. Don't be like my character's 21 because the history might be read in a few years. And if it's read in a few years, your character's no longer 21. That's misleading. So just put their birthday, month, or MMDDYY, or YYYY, MMDD, whatever. I don't care about the format. Just include the whole thing. You also want to try to touch on how your character ended up in Withmore City, which is the name of the city in the game, in case you weren't yet aware. Your character cannot be born here, and they must be just arriving. So you are arriving in character, and your history should basically cover the bases from when you were born to when you arrived in Withmore. Now you can gloss over huge parts of that. Just be like, he was born in Miami in 2075. His birth date is July 29th, 2075. His parents are Juan and Maria. His full name is Jeffrey Bieber, and he grew up in a rough neighborhood and he had to spend a lot of time hawking goods at his parents' shop, hence the trading skill. And if you had something like fighting, it'd be like he, got beat up a lot coming home, so he started practicing martial arts at a local martial arts place, and, basically just cover the basis on how your character got to be who they are. You may also want to include vices, things like drug addictions, women, men, proclivity, like sexual proclivities, whatever. Interesting things that are going to define your character and their actions. There's this Nordic LARP idea of playing to lose. Now, I'm not saying you should play to lose in a PvP game in the sense that, you get into a fight and you purposely lose it if that's not what you want to do. But giving your character detriments is a really cool way of making your roleplay more challenging and interesting. So try to come up with cool and interesting things that happened to your character in the past. Maybe they were dropped into a pit of spiders and are now terribly afraid of spiders. So anytime anybody ever even mentions spiders, they freak out and run away. Now that probably won't come up very often, but when it does, it'll make for really interesting role play. So that's a brief primer on writing your history. When you submit your history, so when you type @history and choose option 1, which will bring you here, and you draft a new history, and then you paste your history and try to keep it formatted well, it will also give you a chance to say, are you sure you want to submit this history? And it'll go over some of the guidelines that you need to include in your history. So if it doesn't get approved on the first time, don't worry. The admin that rejects it will give you feedback and just try again. Until you have an approved history, though, you cannot get an automated job in the game. So there's certain automated jobs like working at a warehouse or delivering crates. You will not be able to do that without an approved history. You can always get a player job, like a job from another player, like cleaning up graffiti or moving bodies around or something, but you will not be able to get an automated job. So get that history in as soon as possible. Thank you very much. See you soon.